In our Sunrise Smart Start, more discussions about how to act against what some are calling inadequate and costly service from RG&E.
The social justice group Metro Justice invited the public to hear from city leaders about plans to turn the profit company into a community-owned utility. They claim RG&E doesn't do enough to reinvest in the community. This comes after a proposed rate hike of nearly 20%. The organizing director of Metro Justice adds there are things people can do if they're currently struggling to keep up with the rates.
Bills are really expensive, or even worse, RG&E shutting people off in the winter, often unjustly. Folks should call Metro Justice. We can connect you with an organization called the Public Utility Law Project that can help you. We also encourage you to apply for HEAP.
And you can call Metro Justice at 585-397-3540. This is the second public meeting. Again, the goal for the group is to educate the public on how you can help the City Council create a public-owned utility.
A Rochester man has been sentenced in what the U.S. Attorney's Office of Western New York has called the largest Ponzi scheme in the history of the district. Christopher Paris has been sentenced to 20 years and 4 months after being found guilty of conspiracy to commit mail fraud through a Ponzi scheme and wire fraud related to illegal sales of PPE and N95 masks in 2020. Federal prosecutors say Christopher Paris began stealing from clients in 2008.
A handful of shootings the last few weeks in one area of Rochester. We're talking about the Merchant District of Monroe Avenue. It's been the site of some violent crime recently, and now the owner of O'Callahan's Pub is calling on the city to do more. The biggest need, he says, is increased foot patrols on the stretch. This comes after a shooting victim ran into his pub for safety, something he says hasn't happened in nearly 20 years, and it's making him reconsider running a business there.
There's other places where it would be much more enjoyable to run the business in a suburban location. It's had a good run. 18 years is a long time, but I don't know how much longer we can keep this up without help from the city or the state.
During the Rochester City Council meeting, business owners are expected to attend and voice their concerns on the increased violence.
The United Christian Leadership Ministry is calling on City Council to approve funding for software that would help the Rochester Police Department better track officer performance. The proposed partnership between RPD and Chicago-based company Benchmark Analytics is designed to make it easier to see if an officer's engagement with the public can be linked to how long they are working, training, and more. The goal is to address potential patterns of misconduct and lower the amount of complaints filed. For the first time in U.S. history, Congress has referred a former president to the Justice Department for possible criminal prosecution.
In its last public meeting, the House January 6th committee voted to recommend criminal charges against Donald Trump for his role in trying to overturn the 2020 election. Trump was referred for 4 criminal charges, including conspiracy to defraud the United States.
Every president in our history has defended this orderly transfer of authority, except one.
Trump slammed the committee as, quote, corrupt and partisan, and repeated false claims that the 2020 election was stolen. The Department of Justice has declined to comment on the referrals. The Climate Action Council looking to the future as the group voted to approve a statewide plan to reduce greenhouse emissions and work towards other environmental goals. According to the scoping plan, the goal is to achieve 70% renewable energy by 2030, 100% zero emissions electricity by 2040, and net zero emissions statewide by 2050. In a vote of 19-3, the scoping plan was approved.
New York State is already a leader in solar, wind, transmission. We are rolling those green energy jobs into the future. This plan helps to set all of that in motion in a coordinated and collaborative way and ultimately put the state in a leadership position nationally.
Republican Assembly member Mary Beth Walsh agrees that steps need to be taken to fight climate change, but without a complete understanding for costs and solutions, the bar is set too high too quickly.
AAA is encouraging travelers to plan ahead for the holiday commute. The latest gas price report shows prices dropped slightly this week. In Rochester, we saw a 7-cent decrease since last Monday in average price. AAA also says traffic on the road is expected to be back to pre-pandemic levels, so you should start planning accordingly.
Heading out for this weekend, the worst travel times are going to be Friday the 23rd from 4 to 7 p.m. So try to make your drive before 2 p.m. or after 8 p.m. on Friday. And if you're traveling on Saturday, Christmas Eve, December 24th, the worst times on the road will be between noon and 6 p.m. So that's kind of looking at all day.
AAA says December 27th is the worst day for holiday travel. They say for most of next week, the best times to be on the road will be before 2 p.m. and after 8 p.m.
6:52 right now, and some good news this morning. The Lilac Festival is back, and it's back to its previous format, I should say.
Yes, it's 10-day rain. It's going on for 10 days instead of the 3 weekends that we've seen the last 2 years due to the pandemic. Tickets are available with limited time pricing through the holidays, and you can find that at lilacfestival.org. James, I know this is something you're pretty excited about. Is that right?
So excited. And the difficult part about picking the date for the Lilac Festival is you got to get it when they bloom, right?
Right.
Got to get it when the lilacs bloom, and that depends a lot on weather. So you need a decently warm springtime, and so hopefully that time frame hits it. It was a little bit easier when you had 3 weekends because it's a longer stretch. Better chance you get that bloom. A little bit more difficult now. And some people think biking is only for the springtime. Not true. I know some winter bikers that will bike to work and school. 20s out there, maybe a little bit chilly on the ride, but just make sure to wear gloves and you're in good shape. Numbers this afternoon getting into the 30s. I've got the 8-day forecast at the end of the show. Casey, Amel?
All right, James, thank you. Taking one last look at the roads this morning. Still looking good out there. I'm not seeing any accidents. We do have some road closures from the DOT that they are advising folks about to be aware of. Those are in our area. So between 10 a.m. and noon, there will be a double right lane closure along 590 southbound at Highland Avenue. The ramp connecting 490 eastbound to 590 southbound will also be closed. They add people should expect to experience travel delays as they continue on their way. But if you're not heading in either of those areas, you should run into no issues this morning. Well, a new record has been set in the Antarctic Ice Marathon. 60 runners from 20 different countries dashed through the snow this year.
Battling freezing temperatures and at times a slippery slope across the Union Glacier, Ireland's Sean Tobin won this year's event, running the full marathon in, get this, 2 hours and 53 minutes. That's just over 26 miles in under 3 hours and just one spill in the snow. The race's director says having 3 sub-3-hour times is incredible, and it's a first in the 17 years that they have been running this race.
We've got numbers in the low 30s today, but all eyes are on that Thursday, Friday, Saturday time frame. We get some rain showers, maybe a little mix on Thursday, but we spike up to upper 40s on Friday. And look at that plunge from Friday near 50 to Friday night and into Saturday near 10. A 40-degree drop. Flash freeze possible late this week.
All right, James, thank you, and thank you so much for watching News 8 at Sunrise.
Our next update's coming up in 30 minutes. CBS Mornings is up next. Have a great Tuesday.
News 8 wherever you are, on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, Twitter, and on our app for news and weather.